This has to be the first bit of news about The Last of Us as a franchise that isn't about a new remaster being announced, and honestly, it's good and bad news at the same time. Good if you're a fan of the television show, but bad if you're a fan of what Naughty Dog at least used to be, a video game studio that would put out quality products, but it really hasn't been the case ever since Neil Druckmann has just turned it into his own personal gratification device. But yes, long story short, he is stepping away from the television show before things start to get underway in regards to season 3. And yeah, a lot of people have come to the conclusion that, well, if you were just simply taking a look at the ratings and the audience reception, gee, look at that. A game that had a similar result on its fan base, got adapted for another medium and ended up befalling the exact same fate. So obviously, heads were going to roll, things were going to have to change, and Neil Druckmann, given the fact that he's the guy who's so inexorably linked to that abysmal story, he's the one that ends up having to take the fall for this, and he can do it ever so gracefully, ceremonially handing things off to Craig Mazin, where he can try to repair this nonsense. But bro, you've already decided that it's going to be centering specifically on Abby. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a hurdle, but it's not impossible. It's just highly unlikely, okay? There are several odd things about this announcement that I haven't seen other people pick apart, okay? So let's just read this, okay? To our Naughty Dog community, we wanted to let you know that studio head Boo Neil Druckmann delivered the following message to our team this morning. It's like, you couldn't just come out and say this. You had to say, oh God, yeah, our good Lord and Savior Neil finally, graced the hallways of Naughty Dog, and he delivered a sermon on the Mount and let us know that, yes, he would be returning. Your faith has been rewarded. Your Lord and Savior has returned. I've made the difficult decision to step away from my creative involvement in The Last of Us on HBO. With work completed on Season 2 and before any meaningful work starts on Season 3, interesting, now is the right time for me to transition my complete focus to Naughty Dog and its future projects, including writing and directing our exciting next game, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, along with my responsibilities as studio head and head of creative. Co-creating the show has been a career highlight. It's been an honor to work alongside Craig Mazin to executive produce, direct, and write on the last 2 seasons. I'm deeply thankful for the thoughtful approach and dedication the talented cast and crew took to adapting The Last of Us Part 1 and the continued adaptation of The Last of Us Part 2. But yes, I'm so thankful for that opportunity. It's just unfortunate I'm not going to be around to see the culmination of my magnum opus and how it ultimately ends with a resounding thud when Abby has to break up her disjointed family and that she just ends up, reconciling with the repercussions of her actions, coming back to an empty house and not being able to play a guitar other than just a couple of shitty Nirvana songs because she's going to be missing a couple of digits. But I don't want to spoil the ending of Season 3 or potentially Season 4 if Craig Mazin gets his way. But let's be completely honest, man. Who knows what's going to happen? Because simultaneously, okay, because The Last of Us is airing on, HBO, so that's a Warner Brothers gimmick. So it's interesting that you get this statement from Naughty Dog, okay, as opposed to HBO. So I find that one very interesting, letting me know that this was more or less like the way that this is being structured as O'Neill came back and he told us of his plans. He informed us of what he's going to be doing moving forward, and more like HBO said, okay, Neil, take your shit and get the fuck out. Okay, like you can go do other things elsewhere. You can go back to your goofy little kid stick games. Okay, you can go ahead and do that stuff. Don't call us. We'll call you, because for whatever it was, like The Last of Us Season 1, it was reasonably well received, okay? Well, at least it entertained people enough to have somewhat of an enthusiasm leading into Season 2, even though people who were familiar with the games, it's like, well, boy, if you're going to be faithfully adapting that, you're going to be pissing people off by about Episode 2, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So, okay, Neil is going to be coming back to specifically focusing on video games, even though he's only really been the studio head and the creative lead for Naughty Dog for one game, and that one, well, it speaks for itself. But, okay, he's going to be stepping away from TV that he obviously sees as a more legitimate medium. But, yeah, just simply, I seen this comparison, and it's like, wow, man, this came out a couple of days, okay, before this announcement. And, yeah, then you have The Last of Us director Neil Druckmann says he doesn't think he has many more big games left in him. That's interesting. Okay, so that article was published, oh god, what, February of last year? Interesting stuff. So you got Intergalactic that's coming out and has apparently been in development since 2020, and you're the creative lead, you're the studio head, and you're still writing and directing that's just not coming out for what, 3-4 years. I think that's a pretty big issue as well that not a lot of people are picking up on. Okay, like this game is gonna take a minute to come out, but Neil's not the only person who's apparently been let go as well, because apparently Hallie Gross, one of the other game writers who's also working on the TV series, yeah, she got fired too. So this is very much an HBO, oh god, we just got sold a false bill of goods. Okay, season 1, like I said, relatively well received, and guess what? Oh shit, season 2 was a train wreck. However could we have possibly known that this is exactly what was going to happen? But Gross, who served as a writer and producer on the hit show and co-wrote The Last of Us Part 2 video game with Druckmann, revealed her departure in a post on Instagram, saying she's stepping back to focus on new projects. Sure thing. Great care and consideration, I've decided to take a step back from my day-to-day work on HBO's The Last of Us to make space for what comes next. I'm so appreciative of how special this experience has been working alongside Neil, Craig, HBO, and the remarkable cast and crew. It's been life-changing. The stories we told about love, loss, and what it means to be human in a terrifying world, or to basically be just, airheaded lesbians making a lot of noise during a zombie apocalypse. Fucking stupid. I wonder if she wrote the line, "Am I gonna be in Dan?" for the anthropomorphic potato. I'm just wondering. Are exactly why I love this franchise. It's 2 fucking games, man. It's one highly overrated game because, let's be completely honest, The Last of Us Part 1, pretty decent story with a whole bunch of antiquated and pretty slop-ass mechanics, and then Part 2, like, nobody talks fondly about that game at all whatsoever at this point in time. A franchise, when there's more re-releases and remasters of 2 games, does it even count as a franchise? But I digress. I have some truly rad projects ahead, I'm sure you do, that I can't wait to share. But for now, I want to express my gratitude to everybody who brought Ellie and Joel's world to life with such care. So is that also kind of an admittance that, yeah, The Last of Us Part 3 definitely isn't on Naughty Dog's radar, okay? And then also, they really don't have anything that's on the cusp of release. And given the fact that, yeah, their last new game to come out was in 2020. Like, what have they actually been working on? Because Naughty Dog is a bigger studio than just this idiot and then another fucking hack. But yeah, Neil Druckmann, the co-creator of the Last of Us video game franchise. Co-creator, yes, of the Last of Us video game franchise. Oh, right, yeah. Because he pushed out, well, actually, he demoralized Bruce Straley, the one competent guy who was working on that project. It's funny, right? Because Neil Druckmann, also working on Uncharted, pushed out Amy Hennig and ruined that franchise with Uncharted 4, which, God, I don't want an Uncharted 5. I don't want to see Nathan Drake get cucked by his fucking far more impressive daughter. I don't want that. I don't fucking want that. But yeah, Neil does that the first time around with Uncharted. And then, yeah, he pushes out, Bruce Straley, who is a very much the reason why there was sharp writing in The Last of Us Part 1. Okay. Very obvious, because when Neil ended up taking everything on himself, yeah, then the quality precipitously went down. But yes, in the HBO series has officially announced that he'd be stepping away from the show before production begins on season 3. So, and that's also, yeah, that's another thing that's telling about that post right there. They haven't even begin production, meaningful production, on season 3. So it's going to be another one of these 2, 3, 4-year gaps between seasons, and we already seen, okay, from the reports that were out there after the season 2 ended up wrapping up, yeah, the marked drop off from season 1, and then also comparing a season 1 finale with the season 2 finale. Like, you just can't, these gigantic gaps between these streaming shows, you just can't have them, man. It's fucking killing the medium. But once again, you know, after somebody kills a project, then he just nopes on out into the horizon and says, you know, catch you later. Oh, what a horrible human being Neil Druckmann is. Yeah, after debuting to widespread acclaim in 2023, The Last of Us Season 1 concluded with a finale that drew 8.2 million US cross-platform viewers. In contrast, Season 2 finale, which aired May 26, 2025, brought in just 3.7 million viewers. Fuck. Whoa. Actually, I didn't even realize that bad, or it was that bad, but yeah, okay, now that we finally have the numbers, because I didn't see it chart when we were also looking at other shows that were out there where, yeah, you had, I don't know, for as much as people want to go, yeah, well, Andor, nobody watched Andor, bro, it charted and it did exceptionally well. Oh, yeah, but 3 episodes at a time, it accumulated what? Yeah, that means that people are watching that shit. Take a look at what's happening with Last of Us, exactly. Season 2 premiere began with 5.3 million viewers, meaning the season lost approximately 30% of its audience over the course of its run, and that's with Neil and his razor-sharp wit. But despite continued critical praise, audience reception has diverged sharply. Season 2 currently holds a 92% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. God, we just culture really has just fucking died, and we're just, you know, spinning in this, you know, doom spiral, because we're here at the exact same point that we were in 2020. Oh, but the critics love part 2, and it's just the sexist bigots that are out there that just can't handle such mature storytelling. Yeah, and the audience score has plummeted to just 37%. Actually, I don't even think that the game was that divisive, but yeah, it just goes to show you that it isn't the sexist bigots that were out there that just couldn't handle the story, the brilliance of Neil Druckmann with the game. You let it bomb on TV, and guess what? It might just end up being that the story isn't that good, Neil. Maybe after you're done with all of your obligations at Naughty Dog, you know, working on the next groundbreaking video game that's out there, you can work on adapting The Last of Us to, I don't know, like a radio drama or Broadway musical, so that it can bomb for a 3rd consecutive medium. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.